What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and one of the big questions that I keep getting, especially after the last couple videos that I've done, is how does this kid afford this stuff? How does he afford the cars? How does he afford the real estate? How does he afford the lifestyle? And I kind of have wanted to stay away from these videos because they seem a little over the top. However, I have a proven strategy that has helped me immensely to not only build wealth, but create the lifestyle that I've always wanted. And so in this video, I'm gonna show you what I've done to be able to afford the lifestyle I want, the real estate, and everything else. And it really is a plug and play system. If you follow these steps, I can promise you, you can get to the point where you have your dream lifestyle 100% paid for by passive income. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Now, I was hesitant to make a video like this because before I got into investing in real estate and started doing what I'm doing, I would click on a lot of videos like this. And it was always to try and pitch a course or a program that was going to solve all of your problems and make all this money super quick. And so I'm gonna be very upfront in saying it does take time, but I created this video so that you could reverse engineer the lifestyle that you want. So that was kind of like a plug and play system where if you follow these steps, you can get to the point where your entire lifestyle and the lifestyle you want is completely covered with passive income. Clark, hey buddy, what's up? So in this video, I'm gonna do everything I can to just break things down so you literally can start at the end and work backwards and figure out exactly what you need to do to get that dream lifestyle you want and give you the steps along the way so that you can figure it out. So just to give you a little bit of a rundown, this is my house. Now you can see that beautiful gardening. Gardener does a pretty good job. But then up here, what the heck? Really got to call the gardener and figure out what's going on. Just kidding, I am the gardener. All right, I've seen a lot of YouTubers do this. They just point at it and then they shake it. I got to figure out how other YouTubers do that. Now, the mortgage on this place is about $2,000 per month. This is the Tesla. Now, the Tesla payment is about $1,200 per month. The truck payment was around $1,200, $1,200 or $1,300. But the truck is actually paid off now. And then over here, you've got the new C8. Now, the C8 I bought in cash, but I'm actually planning on refinancing that. And I'll do that in a future video and explain why, so that I can get that to a monthly payment as well that eventually I'll have paid off. Now, if you add up the math on that, you've got the $2,000, $1,200, $1,300, and the car payment will probably be a little over $2,000, honestly. But you can look and see, all right, this is where all of our expenses are. Now, the truck is paid off because I used extra money from my cash flow, from my properties, to pay that off quick so it was completely paid off. We did the same thing with my wife's Lexus, which we actually parked up the street at my buddy's house. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, Chandler, cool, you've got the cars, you've got the house, why are you talking about it? In order for you to reverse engineer the dream lifestyle you want, you've got to figure out what your monthly expenses are going to be. So this isn't just something I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy these things and then see how I take care of it. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, these were things where I knew exactly what I would need to be able to pay the monthly payment for those. So your first step here, you've got what you want your dream lifestyle to be and what it should cost. I know I just purchased the C8 because my cash flow could pay for it. However, I've been pretty frugal even within my cash flow. However, I am going to be making another large fun purchase, and I want you guys to guess in the comments what you think it is. I'll let you know in the next 2 to 3 videos. So take your guess, let me know in the comments what you think I'm going to buy next, and it's not going to be an investment property. Actually, there might be one of those coming up too. All right, guys, so here is how it works. And yes, I am on a bucket. The reason I'm doing this video though, is these expenses are okay. They really are. However, they're not something you should do immediately. And that's why when you're structuring your dream lifestyle, you can have your dream board, you can have your vision, you can have these things that you want. However, you have to have a structured plan to get there. And that's why if you reverse engineer the entire thing, you can get into a place where you know you can afford these things with passive income. So here is how I view things. With me, I like to invest in real estate. And you can click this video above if you want to learn more about how that works and start in your journey of investing in real estate. With investing in real estate, I knew that there would be an immediate return of a certain percentage on the amount of money that I put in. And this is how it works with any investment, but especially with real estate. You know, this is going to be a consistent return, and a lot of times that return only increases as time goes on. Now, there are a couple different portions of this return. There's appreciation, there's principal pay down, there's tax benefits. All of these are going to be locked away for a future return. This is like retirement to me. These properties are going to go up in value, and years down the road, I can pull that money out or refinance it out or do a myriad of other things to get access to that for my retirement. But for me, I'm not worried about retirement because that money is going there. Now, the other return with real estate is cash flow. And what's so cool about cash flow is it is paid every single month. Now, what you realize, I've got expenses every single month. However, I also have income every single month. That is my cash flow. And so what I decided very early on is I was going to spend as little as possible from my check that I was making. Now, I was making good checks and they were getting bigger and bigger, and I got those checks from doing door-to-door sales. And you can click the link above if you want to learn more about that. However, I wasn't spending those things on lifestyle. I was spending those things on saving until I could afford real estate. So what I did is I set a rule for myself that I would only let my lifestyle creep as I could afford that creep with my passive income solely created from my cash flow. So I started out in an apartment with one vehicle. All right. Then I got to the point where I could upgrade the vehicle because I had purchased a couple properties. Then it got to the point where I could no longer rent, but I could afford my own home because of more cash flow that had come from properties. Then I purchased another car. Then I was able to travel more. I was able to go out to eat more. I was able to spend on more fun hobbies and doing other things, but it was never because I was using my active income. It was always because I was staying within the budget, only created by my cash flow. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Chandler, don't the expenses change on your properties every month? What if some months you have big cash flow, other months you don't? When I run the numbers on my investment properties, I set aside a large amount of expense for when bad things happen. Now, early on, bad things could still affect my bottom line. But now that I have 99 units of rental real estate, every month bad things happen to at least one of the properties, but my expenses stay pretty close to the same. Now, when I have a big roof I have to replace, maybe it adjusts a little bit, but that's why I'm setting aside money in my expense tab every single month and only pulling the cash flow after all of the mortgages, expenses, and any additional expenses I think might come have been set aside from the money that is paid from tenants. So I've got money laid aside, I've got reserves, I've got this situation where whether it's a great month or a bad month or a good month or a mediocre month, I think some of those are similar. You get the point. Regardless of the month, I'm still able to pull the same amount of cash flow out so that I can support my lifestyle. Now, I've been absurdly conservative when doing this to make sure that my lifestyle doesn't creep outside of what my budget is that has been created by my cash flow. And here's what's cool, is the way that you can do this for yourself is you look and you say, all right, I'm gonna invest in properties. I'm only going to buy properties that I can do everything Chandler's just said, but those properties yield a 15% cash on cash return on my money. What that means is whatever money you put into the investment, it's going to give you a 15% return every single year. Now, once you know that, you know exactly how much money you need to be able to invest so that you can get your desired return in cash flow so that then you can afford whatever lifestyle you want. Now, if you follow these rules, it's absolutely incredible because then whatever lifestyle you take on, you're not worried about that income disappearing. It's passive income and rents only go up. Property values only go up. And if property values go down, because a lot of times it's like this with little downs along the way, you don't care because that's your retirement. all that you care about is your cash flow. And if you've left proper reserves, even if your cash flow takes a hit, which never happens, but even if it does, you can still afford to keep up with your lifestyle purely from passive income. The other thing that's super, super cool about living your lifestyle with your passive income is you get to a point where you've purchased things like your RC car, like your snowboards, like your longboards, or even like your truck. You can't see it, but it's right here, where eventually you've paid off those things. So you've used a portion of that yearly passive income, but then the next year, you still have that passive income. So now that the truck's paid off, that opens up a new expense that I can take on, like another car, or anytime I purchase another investment property, that gives me the ability to buy another car. So I wanna show this picture I used for the thumbnail again. You can see my house, my cars, you can see all of the layout, but here's what you should see. You should see $2,000 on the house, $1,300 on the car, $1,300 on the next car, $2,000 on the next car, $2,000 on your living expenses every month on top of that, another $1,000 for travel or whatever it is. And you should see those as an expense you have to pay every single month for you to be able to acquire this lifestyle. Then you should reverse engineer and say, all right, at a 15% return on my money, how much money do I need to invest to afford that every single month? And if you can go backwards from there, then you're in a place where you have passive income covering everything that you need. Now, this comes to the final question that a lot of people ask, and that is, well, Chandler, that's fine and dandy. Great plug and play system for us. We totally understand it. However, once running the math, how in the heck are we going to be able to afford the money to then afford the real estate to then afford the lifestyle? So here's what I'll tell you. Your money is an employee, and you have to look at it that way. And so right now, if you've got a job that isn't paying you a whole lot, you've got to say, all right, how much of my money can I set aside? What's the best I can do to set aside money to use as an employee? And the more employees I can create, the better off that I'm going to be. Now, here is the hang up. A lot of people are only getting paid $15 an hour. And if you're getting paid $15 an hour, you can still reach this lifestyle. But let's be real, it's probably gonna take you 10, 15, 20 years of budgeting super hard, living super within your means, not doing anything extravagant, not really living. And for me, that seems like kind of a bummer. Now, I've done it, but it's not like I did it for 10 years, all right? I mean, I worked really hard to be really smart, but on top of setting aside money and recognizing that I had to use it as an employee, I also had to recognize that I had to be in a place where I could make more employees. And I think this is the hardest principle because a lot of people say, well, Chandler, I can't do that. I can't do that with my job. Well, here's the deal. If you want the lifestyle, you have to do things that you can't or don't want to do. You're thinking about it wrong because you can always find a way to do it. A couple examples of this. Start a side hustle mowing lawns. Start a side hustle detailing cars. Buy and sell things. Get into real estate where you're flipping properties in your off time. You can do a myriad of things while keeping your current job to make extra income, and all of that extra stuff 100% can be turned into employees. Now, to make money, you need to understand you can do one of three things. You can use your time, you can use money if you already have it, or you can use leverage and borrow other people's money, or leverage your skill set, or a myriad of other things that you can use leverage to capitalize on. Now, there are so many different ways to do this, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's quitting your job and finding a higher paying job, or if you're like me and you realized, hey, if I'm only making $15 an hour or $20 an hour, or heck, even $100 an hour, I am limited on only $100 an hour. That means the fastest I could get to my dream lifestyle would be this. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 15 years. If you're happy with that, then do that and hold to the standard and continue to generate employees and understand exactly what you need to invest in real estate and get your 15 or your 20 or your 25% return. I see so many people that are just like, oh, I want that. And it's like, perfect. What's your plan? How long is it going to take you to get there? And they're like, I don't know. I just want that. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna get it. I don't care how hard you're working. If you're making $15 an hour and you're using all of that to survive, you're never going to get there. So you've got to find a way to do a side hustle or to leverage your time or to get a new job. That's why I do a commission job, because the sky's the limit. Some days you can make nothing if you don't know how to work that job properly, but other days you can make thousands and thousands of dollars if you figure out how to do it. There is always a way where you can use your skill set to make more money than $15 an hour. I promise you, everyone has the ability to do that. And so then you've got to sit back and evaluate and say, all right, how can I generate more wealth, or how can I save the wealth I am generating at a rate to where I can reach this much in passive income to where then I can afford the things that I want. And I know there are guys right now watching the video saying, all right, Chandler, you laid it all out. It seems daunting though. It seems like it's way in the future. Well, here's the deal. I saw a quote the other day that someone said, what would you prefer? To work 40 years at the same job and never have your dream lifestyle, or really struggle, really suffer, really save? Maybe you don't get the cheeseburger once a month that you already are getting, but come on, it's one cheeseburger. Whatever it is, why not be willing to sacrifice now, to take some risk, to do a commission job, to spend extra hours instead of watching sports on TV and putting in extra time on that grind so that you can create that passive income and get to the point where you say, hey, maybe I don't want to go to work today. And maybe I don't have to because I have a passive income paying for my lifestyle. But one thing you will realize, if you use this strategy and find a way to increase your income and then increase your buying power and buy a bunch of real estate and then create a passive income, is you will form habits to where you actually enjoy what you're doing. Because at any given time, you could choose that you don't want to work. And you can just go and live it up with this dream lifestyle you've created. And then you start to realize that you love the work that you're doing. And if you can find that combination, you have arrived. Now, I'm not saying I've arrived. I'm very young. I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. I've got a lot to learn. However, this strategy works. It protects you. It gives you financial freedom, and it gives you the ability to have the things that you've always wanted, but that you never thought you could have. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the future videos, where my goal is to help you to create a huge passive income. And again, we've talked about it. I've said, oh, you can get a 15% return, but check out the other videos, because if you do, I'll show you how to use your money to actually create that passive income. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.